Written and directed by Dees Rees, the American drama film Pariah aired in 2011. It tells the story of Alike, who is also called Lee, a 17-year-old black queer teenager living in Brooklyn, New York, who tries to balance expressing her sexuality and fitting in among her friends, Laura and Bina, and hiding it from her religious parents, Audrey and Arthur. The film title and storyline is very relevant to each other because of the direct meaning of the word pariah, which is an outcast. In terms of Pariah's style of production, in an interview with cinematographer Bradford Young, it was said that the film weaves color, texture, and lighting in a way that captures the nuances of the Fort Greene, Brooklyn locale and deepens the emotional journey of the main character, Alike. Young also stated it was the collaborative process with Rees to find balance and courage in taking creative risks and mainly being concerned about incorporating Impressionism as their visual style. Pariah was premiered in the 2011 Sundance Film Festival, in which the film was awarded the Excellence in Cinematography Award. Overall, Pariah was a huge success with a 95% score on Rotten Tomatoes and an 82% audience score, as well as a critics' consensus description of the film as powerful, fresh, and authentic. The film Pariah is relevant because it depicts unique representations of being a young, black, and queer woman in a religious household by the protagonist Alike. It does so by portraying Alike's struggle and her actions to push the boundaries put on among her family and live in her true identity. This can be seen as the encoded message intended by the director to explicitly shed light on intense subjects and internal conflicts individuals deal with when having intersectional identities, like being black, queer, religious, having to come out, and facing rejection from family members. These topics are oftentimes seen as taboo and not talked about or addressed. However, Pariah and its directors do a great job in representing how an individual, like Alike, came to terms with her sexuality and chose to live her truth. Even though there's an encoded message, the audience now has the responsibility to decode it. There are 3 viewpoints audiences can have, which are dominant, negotiated, and oppositional, from Stuart Hall's encoding and decoding model of communication. A dominant reading can be interpreted as completely supporting the LGBTQ+ community and Alike's actions to expressing and choosing to live her truth. A negotiated reading can look like the audience empathizing with Alike by agreeing to having the choice to live one's most authentic life and ultimately be accepted and supported by their loved ones. However, some might not agree with or support the LGBTQ+ community due to their background or values. Lastly, an oppositional reading may be that the audience might oppose Alike's take on living a double life and are non-supportive of the LGBTQ+ community due to their conservative, religious, or homophobic values. In enacting their oppositional viewpoint, this audience might openly reject individuals from this community, similarly to how Alike's mom did in the film. Throughout the film, we can see much pushback from the protagonist, Alike, to following societal and familial pressures. We mainly see these pressures by Alike's mother constantly reminding and forcing Alike to look and act more feminine by telling her what to wear and who to be friends with, especially given that her mother doesn't like Alike's best friend Laura, who identifies as gay. Alike rejects these pressures by essentially living a double life and physically changing her appearance to fully feel her authentic self, all while still keeping it from her religious parents. Alike also expresses and tunes into her sexuality by going to a women's club and catching feelings for Bine, a friend of hers who accepts Alike for who she is. These societal pressures connect back to the dynamics of hegemony, which is the status quo taking control of who one should be or act. However, through Alike's actions, we can see how she pushes the boundaries and doesn't let society or her family dictate her life. Finally, to complete the unique representations depicted in Pariah, the style of the film incorporates nuanced colors, textures, and unconventional angles to overall set the tone for the film. At the start and throughout the film, we can see the camera's odd movement and depictions of various colors and a toned-down lighting. Like I mentioned before, the filmmaker's goal was to deepen the emotional journey of the main character, Alike, by using Impressionism as their visual style. With that came creative risks, which connects back to the formalist film style of taking a more creative approach and capturing a unique experience from within rather than achieving an accurate depiction.